Good morning, everyone, and thanks for tuning in. As always, I want to express my gratitude to each and every one of you for tuning in and being a part of my journey here on YouTube and so on and so on. Now, last week I said that there's going to be a special guest coming on this week's Cosmic Vibes, but I got my dates mixed up. So he will be with us on the following Cosmic Vibes series. Okay, so not this video today, but the following one. So now let's talk about subscribing to the channel, hitting that little red button down there, and so on. And if you do want to book a private reading where you can get a lot of details from me, soulworkwithjenny.com, book through my website, and then we'll take it from there. So let's talk about we are preparing and getting ready for this eclipse season. Like, oh my God, eclipses are life changing. This is when the universe can step in and give you that rude awakening and sudden end things and situations. So it's really important to start preparing this week. I'm telling you, we've had enough of those rude awakenings. I mean, look what's going on in the world, right? So this is the time you have to think of you, your needs, prioritize yourself, set some strong boundaries, like don't allow anybody to take you for granted and to use you constantly. Do you know why? Because that's only just going to continue. What you allow will continue. So you're going to have to start to set some strong boundaries, with people especially. You know what I mean? So very important. You know who is around you. You know what's going on. Maybe it's your work that's like, you know what, we want you to work extra hours, or somebody's like, oh, I need you to do this for me, or whatever it is. Pay attention to that. Because if you keep on, you're gonna lose your energy. Our energy gets lower, our immune system goes down, we get exhausted, we get tired, and we're like, oh my God, flu season, all of that can hit you really hard. So you guys have to balance the giving and receiving. But whenever you're feeling that kind of, I'm feeling tired, pay attention because we've had, and it's going to continue, solar flares, solar storms, like solar storms, flares, and stuff. It brings in the lights, like the light show in the sky at night, right? However, it can really knock you down to exhaustion. How many of you look back on the past few days where all of a sudden, why am I so angry? Oh my gosh, why am I so upset? Oh my gosh, like to the extreme, like on a higher range of emotions, like, like, rawr. It can come out. Look back on that. Why did the littlest things really oh, set you off? That's solar flares, solar storms can do that. We had that new moon, but also, especially, your soul is trying to prepare you for the eclipse season. I'll talk about that on next video even more. However, really listen to your body right now. Like you could be having ear ringing, you could be feeling more thirsty, you could be feeling more tired. All of those, there's a lot of physical symptoms we go through that can really knock us down. I was supposed to speak with somebody the other day and my voice had went on me and I was so exhausted and tired. And I'm like, I have to reschedule, you know. And then I'm like, yeah, actually, I'm really exhausted. So I reschedule, no problem. But really pay attention to that because the universe, they'll flatten you right back down on your. I mean, I've had that happen to me. I was going for a walk. This is a few years ago with a couple of people I didn't want to go. I just didn't want to go. I was there more for them. I wasn't there for myself. Long story short, I felt somebody come up behind me, slap me on my back, and I fell down and I twisted my ankle. So I couldn't go. I looked around, nobody was there. That's the universe saying, you're not going. Think of yourself. So pay attention, you guys. Like manifesting is so high right now. Like literally this week, the past actually few days for me, I'm like, just when I was starting to think something, God, I need a sign with this. boom, it was like I like within 2 minutes. And I'm like, it could have been sooner. Like, boom, there's the message. And I'm like, and then the next day, and I'm like, wow, that's interesting. I need more of like a synchronicity. Boom, a call came in. Like, and I'm like, which was connected to something else. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, so those signs are going to continue. It's going to continue. So as we start off on the 26th, because we're going to talk the 26th to the 31st, what's happening every day energy wise. So you might find that on the 26th, you are going to be taking those action steps forward. You're going to be, you know what? If you have appointments booked, let's say, or things to do, look back onto past lessons. Look back onto 2020, 2021, December, even still. What lessons did you learn from that time? Because you could be facing certain situations on the 26th. So, if you have an appointment, like I actually have an appointment booked that day with something that actually, funny enough, takes me back to that time. And I'm like, oh my. So pay attention to what you learned from that time and utilize it into the day of the 26th. You will remember, especially if it's of like, wow, this is very similar of what happened, or this, or that. So this gives you that opportunity to reinvent things, to work things different, make different decisions, and so on. So you could become a little bit emotional because we still have that Chiron energy with us, which is the old wounded healer. So you could have those past memories resurfacing back. So yes, it could get a little bit emotional, of course. So just be gentle with yourself because you are going to be making different decisions. And this is a week where you're going to start seeing people from your past returning back. You could be hearing from people from your past. You could be like, I'm just starting to think about somebody I haven't talked to for a while. Maybe I'm going to reach out to them. Embrace it because it gives you this opportunity to resolve situations. It's like Mercury retrograde when, it's normally people from our past come back and so on. And we can resolve certain situations or we can end things or whatever. So it's kind of similar right now this week as well, right? And the eclipse does bring people back from our past to resolve things or to move forward or just to catch up. However, this is when you want to resolve things now with a past person, let's say, before the eclipse season steps in. If you feel that, I have resolved within what I needed to say to this person, if it's like a falling out or disagreement, let's say, if you know in your heart that, I know I've made amends with it, that's all that matters. If you feel good about it, that's all that matters. You can't worry as much about the other person because the other person has their own journey to go through. You just have to focus on you. What did I learn from that? Do I feel peace in my heart that I made the right decision? And so on and so on. So you are going to see that this week. So, we are in Aquarius season after all, you guys. So, more creative and such like that. You're going to be listening more to your purpose, your soul's calling this week. Destiny, fate, all of those things. So as we move into the 27th and the 28th, really pay attention to what happens on those days. Listen to your heart. It's important to listen to our head when making decisions, always. However, really listen to your heart when you're making decisions. Like I can go on and on and on about certain things, but I'm not. So you very well could be taking a little bit more steps forward, even more so and more so, because your intuition is going to be a lot stronger. Oh, what decision do I make? Listen to your intuition. It's so important. It's so important. This is the time to trust the process. But if something's telling you, I don't know, something's just really off or something, things aren't just not adding up, listen to that. You will see synchronicities as well this week too. If you are seeing synchronicities and wow, things are actually falling together and coming into place, yes, you're on the right path. But when you're like, I don't know, step back, just step back. Don't make any rash decisions because you very well could be doing a lot more deep soul searching during this time. You know what? I got some decisions to make with this or that. I just need some space right now. We all need space to hear our souls speak. Very important. So you might want a little bit of quiet time to reflect on things or decisions that you have to make. But you're going to find you're going to be a lot more disciplined with things, which is always a blessing. But make sure that you're following your heart, you're listening to your heart, you're making decisions from your heart. Don't do it for other people, do it for yourself. But I got to kind of wait for this person to see if, no, follow your heart. Is this going to step you forward? Is this not what you want? Yeah, but no, none of that. Look at your goals, your dreams. If that person is supposed to be with you, they're going to be with you. It doesn't matter. We all have our own footsteps. We all have our own journey. Don't forget. Follow your journey. Follow what's really calling to you. So as we move into the 29th and 30th, you are going to feel a lot calmer. Thank the Lord, right? You're going to be like, oh, I spoke from my heart. I was honest about the situation. You should always be honest about the situation. Why would you not be? So you're going to have more, you very well could even have more heart-to-heart connections that day, heart-to-heart conversations, more soul tribe energy, soul-led situations from your heart. You could very well be like, you know what, I got to let go of certain people, let's say, around me. I need to be around more people that I feel where I can be myself, where I can be like, they get me, they understand me. Of course, that's your soul tribe. People fade away. You know what I mean? I just don't get that person anymore. We all go through different cycles. It's like, I'm on this path. Follow your path that stays with you, that resonates with you. Really look back to last year at this time. Look at where you are now. There's certain people you've let go of, and it doesn't mean you're not going to see them again. No, of course not. No, it's just right now you have to follow your footsteps. So you're going to be feeling a lot more grounded. You're going to be feeling, yes, I feel more balanced with my decisions, or maybe I spoke from my heart and resolved that situation already, or to did this. And really pay attention to your skill sets. Like we all have our own talents, our skill sets, our experiences, and so on. This is connected with your soul's journey, your soul's purpose and destiny, and so on. We're all gifted. Like I'm not no mechanic, right? So you don't want me working on your car. I can clean your car, but that's as far as it goes. So we all have our own skill sets and talents. Follow what is very passionate to you, what you're drawn to, because you very well could be like, I'm just not happy with my career. That eclipse brings in huge changes. So you'd be like, yeah, I want to completely change my career path. Maybe I want to take a class. Maybe I want to follow that. Start writing it down because you're going to see even more of your talents, your wisdom, all of those things. Maybe you could get some compliments from from your job. Wow, you're doing such an amazing job, or wow, you've really helped me, or anything like that. Sometimes you don't realize it because we just keep on doing our job. And then when somebody says, wow, thank you so much, you really helped me, or, whatever it is, pay attention to that. I'm just saying. So as we get onto the 31st, wow, we're moving into February, the eclipse season. We are starting the new year on the 17th of February, year of the fire horse. Woohoo! With the eclipse combined. Oh my gosh. We'll talk about February separately. Maybe my guest will even say a couple of little words as well about February. I'm just saying, you got to stay tuned to see who he is. So, the 31st, reflect back onto this new year, January 1st, where you are now. Even reflect back onto December 2025. Look at where you are now. Because there very well could be some sudden endings just like that day. Maybe you get a notice of, sorry, we're doing layoffs. Maybe you're getting a notice from someone, sorry, our relationship isn't working. Maybe it's just like, I have to end my business connection with you right now. Like, it could be anything. So really pay attention to that, because things could things could really start moving quickly for you right now, like suddenly. And it's really important to trust the process. You know, even with a certain decision I'm making, believe me, it's been very emotional. But I'm like, we're not going to go on about that. But we have to trust the process with things. You know, it was a decision I followed with my heart. There's a lot of synchronicities and so on and so on. So I'm like, I'm trusting that, leaving that up to spirit. My mom actually came into a dream and had told me this and showed me this quite some time ago, and all of these things. So I'm like, I got to trust the spirit world. I surrender things. So always make sure you're walking forward on the path that feels right to you, and surrender. Like, I surrender everything. I do what I'm doing. When it comes down to making certain decisions, do what you feel is right. But what if I know, but oh my God, like, what? We go into fear. What am I making the wrong mistake? You're going to find out. That's how we learn. And it's really important to protect your peace right now, you guys. Like, so important. There's so much horrific things going on in the world, like everywhere. Even our prime minister here, he's a reptilian, Mark Carney. Like what he's doing, selling out Canada to China, all of these things. So don't get me going on that. You know how I am. I rant and rave on Twitter under a different account. So this is the time, you guys, to resolve things now, before that eclipse, whatever it is, smallest little things, because the eclipse will show you truth. It brings up what's been hidden from you. It shows you deceit, who's been deceitful to you, dishonesty. Oh yeah, we've been doing all of these things for you, and they haven't. You're going to see that. A lot of truth has been coming out. A lot of truth has been getting exposed. So just balance out when you're feeling tired as well. Make sure you get rest. Pay attention to tension in your neck, tension in your body. That's the sign that you need to set boundaries. Time for you. So let's just pull a couple of cards here. I don't use cards, as you guys know. I'm a clairvoyant, but I'm just going to pull a couple of cards here for the collective to see what messages the spirit world has to say for you, us collectively. So, all right. Someone's going on a cruise. Someone's going on a cruise, I'm hearing. So let's have a little chat with Stephen Farmer. Messages from the spirits of nature. I really like Stephen Farmer. So follow what books or like people that you're interested in. Whenever we are open, we can learn every day something. You could learn something new just by going somewhere simple. I'm always open to learn new things. And you could learn something just by somebody else. Even you could go to the store and, do some grocery shopping, let's say. And wow, I just learned something new about the cashier, what the cashier said to me, whatever, right? I'm just saying. So what's the collective message from the 26th of January to the 31st? How many of you guys are Aquarians, by the way? Make some comments. Let me know what's going on with you guys. Like my channel. I'm on Instagram too, by the way. Energy Cousins, follow me there. Like, I'm all over. But let's just see. I'm getting a lot of messages coming in from spirit right now. 26th to the 31st. What's the message from the spirit world? Message from the spirit world. Message from the spirit world. There are too many cards. Message from the spirit world. Message from the universe. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, so interestingly enough, we have the card Sage, by the way. Sage, right here. Sage is to purification. So, I mean, I've done many house clearings, many office clearings. I've cleared people from that. I don't do it anymore. I'm actually going to be taking that off my website. I'll only be doing house clearings by referral. I'm no longer going to strangers' houses, let's put it that way. So you can clear your own houses, you can clear your own self. You know, purification, like sage, I even have like essential oil. I have one of those diffusers I use sage on. I clear my own self. I clear my place. Like if I've been around a lot of negativity, let's say with being on the phone with a lot of negative people or out or just feeling off, I'll even clear myself, let's say, from any energies, negative energies I've been around. So, you know, sage is a really, really good way. I used to go picking sage on certain land, and I actually still have some sage and sweetgrass myself that was blessed by a medicine man from quite some time ago. But I use that on special occasions only because it's very powerful stuff. So you can get sage to clear yourself. You really can. There's sage incense sticks as well. Just make sure it's really good quality. So this is a time, you know, as I'm saying, you want to resolve things. Maybe you had that conversation with somebody and you had to end a relationship, let's just say, where you're feeling a little sad or just ended certain situations. Maybe clear yourself, from that energy. Go for a walk, be grounded. Nature is such a therapeutical healing modality. Going for a walk in nature, not when it's minus 100 out, believe me. I don't go outside when it's cold. I'm looking out my window right now and it's snowing. I'm like, oh dear God, I have to go out of the city on. Oh, but anyways, we're not going to talk about that. So let's just pull another card, shall we? I'm going to talk to the animals right now. Let's have a little chat with the animals with Stacy DeMarco. I'm also an animal communicator. So I talk to your animals that have passed on. I talk to your animals who are still alive, who are still with you, and see what messages they have to say for you, to you. I talk to the animals 24/7. Like you have no idea what messages I have coming through. It's nonstop. And I'm also putting classes together. I've been putting classes together for a while, you guys. They'll be coming out this year sometime. So let's have a little chat with the 26th to the 31st. Message from our animal kingdom. Message from our animal kingdom. Wow. The raven. I love ravens. I love crows. I love ravens especially. I go way, way, way back with ravens. Their birds are so profound with messages, so profound. Many, 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 many years ago, like once upon a time, many moons ago, I was having some problems with my body without going into details. So long story short, I go to my doctor. You have to have a hysterectomy. And I'm like hell I do. Long story short, I was dealing with like a death and such like that. And so I was out on my balcony, and ravens flew by and they instantly told me, go to acupuncture. What? I'd never had acupuncture. So, and that was really loud. Believe me, they were so close. I was on my balcony and I'm like, holy crap. So I'm like, okay. Because I talk to animals. I went to acupuncture, one treatment with Chinese herbs, I was cured. Like, seriously. Like, honestly, I'm like, oh my God. So then I had to go back to my doctor, like, I think 3 weeks later or something. And he's like, okay, we should. And I'm like, no, that's gone. Like, what? I'm like, yeah. I mean, my doctor knows me, right? But you know what I'm saying? Animals are messengers. Pay attention to the birds. Ravens, especially. Ravens are very magical. Very magical. Like, Ooh, I just got chills when I saw this. Wow. And it's funny enough because it is actually connected with my day to day with what's going on. Oh my God. Because it is connected with the death, by the way. Wow. You know, really pay attention to that. Be open to hear messages from the animals. But how do I know, Jen? You always book a reading with me. I can give you the messages, what they're saying, and all of those things. So I'm going to have a little chat here. Let's just, no, I'm feeling really earthy right now. So let's just have a little chat with the Earth Magic deck, by the way. Actually, Stephen Farmer as well. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize that. I just kind of go by what deck spirits guided me towards. I don't look at it, I just grab it. How interesting. Like, oh my God. So, what is the message from the universe for the collective here on YouTube? So, of course, not all of you will relate to the cards, don't forget, but some of you really will relate to it. It very well could be a message for you. So, what is the message the 26th to the 31st of January? Ooh, I just felt a very powerful burst with someone. Waterfall card fell down. Now, waters represent our emotions. So, especially, empaths and people that are very sensitive, you could find that why am I drawn to the water? Because water is very healing. It will tell you where your emotions are at. How many of you feel so much better when you're around the water? It's like all of a sudden you start to calm down. If you're by a lake or an ocean, how many of you do feel calmer? Or you could be like, God, I'm so emotional because the water wants you to heal. Why do you think God gave us tears? So we can heal. Waterfalls are in nature. So if you're getting pulled to go for a walk in nature, as I said earlier, or to be around water, I did mention somebody on a cruise. Just be careful, by the way. Watch your wallet. It's a male. Watch your wallet because I'm seeing a wallet in a males wearing shorts or pants. Watch your wallet for especially a male going on a cruise. Just watch that somebody doesn't pickpocket, by the way, or could fall out something. So I'm just going to say that message. I don't know if that person's listening or not. If you know somebody who's male going on a cruise. So, but anyways, listen to the calling of your soul where you're getting gravitated towards, you guys. Very important. So now, how many of you are going to be joining me here on live YouTube the 30th of January, 12 noon Mountain Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific? That very special guest could be appearing live with me. Depends. However, if not, you will see him in the next show, in the next series. You will, for sure, 100%. So just depends. For those of you who know what's going on, you know what I'm talking about already. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel, you guys, and I will catch you live. You want to book a reading, soulworkwithjenny.com. Catch me live right here on YouTube. I will catch you all later. Namaste.